We're getting to the interview with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and Mary Beth Seawald. Your name came up in conversations with our friend Carla Ray.
Yeah, we both worked in radio in Las Vegas. She was an on-air person.
For 105.1?
Yep, Hot Talk 105.1, and I was an account executive. That was after my TV news days. I went from TV news reporting and anchoring over to the sales side because I wanted to be a general manager of one of Jim Rogers' stations. And he said, well, the only way you're going to learn that is if you get out of that newsroom and learn the business side. So I did.
That's where the executives tend to come from, let's be honest.
Well, some come from news, but I feel fortunate to have had that background.
It's well-rounded, so you actually know all the different sides.
Yep.
Today with us on Talking Solutions, we have the president of the Nevada Broadcasters Association, Mary Beth Seawald.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's really nice to have you in the building. Have you been to our studios yet?
This is my first time, and what a palace it is.
We're going to give you the whole tour before you get out of here today, I guarantee. We've got a few things to talk about, and I think a lot of the people listening to the show today, I like to jokingly refer to them as civilians because they're not actually in this crazy business of ours. I know I've been in it for decades. It sounds to me like you've been doing it for a long time as well.
I have, actually. I have a college degree in broadcast journalism from the University of Missouri in Columbia.
That's a very good school.
Yes. So I started in the news end of the industry right out of college.
I actually came from the DJ side, music playing DJ, interested in all the local activities and getting involved in the community. And there have been so many changes over the years. And I would imagine in the position as president of the Nevada Broadcasters Association, you are acutely aware of all of these changes, a lot of them generated by technology.
Absolutely. Technology is probably the biggest driver, and people are so hungry for constant information and for easy access to information. It is really changing fundamentally what we are and who we are and how we provide news and information to our viewers and listeners.
People consume it in a different way.
They do.
And when I hear about younger viewers of television, for instance, a lot of them get their daily news off of The Daily Show with Jon Stewart on Comedy Central. The whole world of technology, the way that younger demographics...
Right off the phone.
Yes. We were just talking about this the other day about when it comes to your medical appointments, how now you can actually do some FaceTime with your doctor.
Isn't that amazing?
Everything is changing so much.
It is.
It's fundamental shifts. What have you seen on the side of the Nevada Broadcasters Association where jobs are shifting? They really are. What I'm seeing from the radio side, which I know you also have, not only the radio dimension, but also the television background. From the radio side, I'm seeing a lot of the consolidation and the automation has actually led to fewer jobs overall.
I think that's the case in a lot of situations, although I am a firm believer that we will never and should never, ever get away from the human aspect, especially because we're all human beings and we gravitate to those radio disc jockeys that we love, their personalities. We feel like we know them. Those television news anchors, we feel like we know, and we invite you all into our homes. So as far as that goes, I think we'll never get away from that, or at least I hope. On the other hand, the technological part of it and the engineering side has consolidated and has shifted from sort of the older traditional, I guess I should say, towers, you know, the engineering, the towers that we have on the mountaintops, to a more IT-centric situation where you have these jobs for, and it skews to the younger demographic, you know, those kids who are so computer literate and skilled in that regard. Those folks are definitely growing in numbers. So IT people who can work on computers and the mobile devices, and people who are interested in social media and those kinds of things are definitely a growing segment of the employment population in our industry.
I have found that people who are still existing in radio who started long ago, in fact, when we came into the studio, I was mentioning to you that way back in the day when I was a teenager getting started in radio, I was dealing with single-edge razor blades and actually splicing audio tape, and it's changed so dramatically. That was also the days where there was always the need for a live body in the studio. There was no automation overnight. You had to have somebody on site. Technology has changed that also dramatically. I love the digital world. I'm loving that. I'm loving not doing the single-edge razor blade, although I got good at that over the years. Having this option is so much better. And I think a lot of the changes that have come along, as opposed to what we were talking about how in a lot of cases there are maybe fewer jobs, the jobs that are here are just cool. And the people who have been in the business, specifically radio, over these years, have the need to adapt to the new technology. It's absolutely essential because I'm seeing DJs these days who are still doing the job also also need to have the social media knowledge to be able to interact in these different platforms, because we've got apps for all of our stations besides the websites and the live streaming. You got to know how to do all of that.
You do have to know, because our younger demographic listeners and viewers, they know that stuff inside and out. And if we're not there providing that news and information and entertainment, they'll go wherever they can find it. So we have to be everywhere that they are. You're right. It's evolving, and it behooves us all as an industry to learn those things, and not only learn them, but be on the front end of that stuff, and sometimes to come up with and invent new ways of providing those services to our listeners and viewers.
We've almost got to be on the leading edge.
We do.
To still be out there, to be relatable and to be viable as mediums for broadcasters overall. It's really interesting when the Nevada Association of Broadcasters, I'm sure is a big part of the NAB for the National Association of Broadcasters. We've got the convention that comes here every year during the month of April.
Right.
And I would imagine you guys are deep in that. Most of the states. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine. We all get people in town for the NAB in April. So we're all out having dinner and meeting up and seeing old friends in the business. And one of my earliest program directors from back in the 80s, in my Kansas days, we met up for dinner, and I know he works for the RAB, Radio Advertising Bureau, and he was talking about all the different states throughout the U.S. who have their own Broadcasters Association. Of course, that's what you lead up for us here in Nevada.
That's right.
How long has the Nevada Association of Broadcasters been in existence? I'm sure we had a start date.
Yeah, we did. It's been about 23 years or so, and I think the association has really evolved into something that is, in Nevada, we are leaders as state broadcast associations go, because the Nevada Broadcasters Association, we are certified by statute by Governor Sandoval of Nevada as first responders in times of emergency. We serve on the Board of Homeland Security, and we have come up with the Amber Alert, the EAS. So as far as those services that we provide to our listeners and viewers, and especially in times of emergency, that is a service that is absolutely unparalleled, and something that's a service that no other industry has the ability to provide in terms of safety and things like that. So our association has been in effect for about 23 years, and we're growing, and we're always looking for new ways to service not only our members, our radio and television stations, but also our residents in our communities, because that's what we do as broadcasters. We serve our communities to the degree that the association can serve our broadcasters, radio and TV, north and south, east and west, all over the state of Nevada. The rurals, I mean, you name it, we serve them all. So it's exciting, and it's really fun, and I look forward to growing the association even further.
It is a blended kind of an experience between the broadcasters themselves and the Broadcasters Association and the community, and we all do work together.
Right.
It's a partnership. I'm fortunate enough to be for Beasley Media Group, the community relations director. So when people ask me, can I do something for them in the way of an interview or a public service announcement or something on our community calendars on our websites, any of that, they seem surprised, and I like to tell them, you're the reason I'm here.
That's right.
You're the reason for my job. The response that you get, they're just really surprised. But that's what we're here for.
It is.
That's what our licenses are for. We are talking with Mary Beth Seawald, president of the Nevada Broadcasters Association. Chances are, as a listener to today's Talking Solutions program, you have not gotten a chance to know what exactly the Nevada broadcasters do. You do a lot. You have responsibilities, I'm sure, as far as the federal government, because our ability and our access to be able to do this kind of job as a broadcaster comes directly down from the FCC.
You're exactly right.
I would imagine visits to Washington or interaction with Washington. How does the Broadcasters Association for Nevada work with us as our bridge to the FCC?
That's a great question, Terry. I just actually got back from Washington, D.C. I made a midterm visit out to our members of Congress and Senate out there, and we work quite closely with the Nevada delegation on federal legislation that is in the works. Some of it's good for us, some of it's not so good for us. We're always working to protect First Amendment rights, free speech, protecting broadcasters' licenses. There are several pieces of legislation that are happening right now. And I must say, people like Senator Heller, Congressman Amadei, Senator Reed have been tremendous supports for our free speech and for Nevada broadcasters. And yes, I work on a regular basis with all of our legislators. That is a very important part of this job and the office of the Nevada Broadcasters Association. And I also lobby, for example. We just spent the session in Carson City, the legislative session, so I was there about 95% of the time working on some local things that are going on in the state of Nevada. So that's a great question. We are a definite bridge between the local broadcasters in the state to the federal level and the state and city, all levels of government we span. It's quite gratifying, actually.
Sounds like you travel every now and then.
A little bit. Yes.
All right, so you've been to Washington, you've spent time in Carson City. I've lived down here in southern Nevada for 23 years now. During all of those years, I've had no need to go the 450 miles up to Reno. I have not had to go that far up the road, so I haven't really gone up to northern Nevada. But it seems northern Nevada, southern Nevada, rural or outlying areas in Nevada. A lot of different perspectives.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. Nevada is quite a vast variety of different types of folks, socioeconomic levels, north, south, east, and west. We have the rurals, we have farmers, we have gaming from one end of the spectrum to the other. But you know what? The common theme is they're all Nevadans, and they all absolutely adore this state, which is really refreshing. It's really fun to go. I'm from the country, the Midwest, so it's easy for me to go to some of the smaller outlying areas and visit our radio and TV stations, their radio mostly. It's just eye-opening, too, to see some of the differences economically, what some of our communities deal with, what their challenges are, and different ways the association can help them as it relates to their community. So you're right. It's pretty different. But it's neat because, like I said, everybody is a Nevadan.
That's a good thing. Every now and then I come across somebody who says, I hate it here. I go, hey, free country. If you're not happy, you go ahead and go. But the people who do live here, regardless of the heat that we're dealing with this time of the year, it's part of the package. But there is no place like Nevada.
No, there's not. You're right. I love it here.
I do too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Heat or no heat, I'm still a big fan. We're talking with Mary Beth Seawald from the Nevada Broadcasters Association, president of the NBA. Sometimes when people with the NBA come through our studios here at Beasley Media Group, they are here to help us do what we call mock FCC inspections.
Yes.
That's important.
I'm glad you brought that up. I started to mention that a moment ago, and then it slipped my mind. We do alternative broadcast inspection programs, which the acronym for that is ABIP, and that is a program that we provide to the broadcasters of Nevada, radio and television, north and south, east and west. It is a sort of mock inspection. We have a professional, Adrienne Abbott. She goes into the stations and she is certified to do so. And that really gives the broadcaster a safety net, so to speak. She goes in, does the inspection, and then she will report that to the FCC. And they'll say, okay, if they passed Adrienne's inspection, because they certify her and they approve of her abilities, if they passed Adrienne's inspection, then they're probably really buttoned up and we don't need to come out and inspect them ourselves. So it's really great. I mean, we always are fine with having the FCC in our stations. I mean, we love having them come out, but it is easier to have our own in-house, so to speak, folks who provide these inspections, and it's a great service to the broadcasters as well.
It's a real win-win, and I can tell you from the DJ side, yes, I know how to do all the stuff I have to do when the FCC stops in during business hours and asks me to perform certain duties, like running an EAS test and saying, do it now for us, would you please? Because you need to show that you can respond in that way. But having the Nevada Broadcasters Association and Adrienne coming in, running the early tests with us, and making sure we know when she certifies to the FCC and says they're good, and the FCC says, all right, if you say so, we're taking that as gospel.
That's right.
Then, like you said, we don't ever want to say that we don't want the FCC in, but I'm fine with us doing it this way. This is all good.
It is. It's a wonderful situation. It's a great service that most state associations provide to their broadcasters at varying degrees, but it's really wonderful. Adrienne is excellent at her job. She's extremely thorough, which is why she's in the position she's in.
She's done it for a lot of years. Once again, a win-win situation because it expands the reach of the FCC without them having to do the additional effort and manpower. And it's all good here. We can certify that.
That's right.
I'm a fan of that. I know that the Nevada Broadcasters Association also has the Hall of Fame. You are probably in it, right?
I am, yes. I'm very proud to be an inductee into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, and should be. And I'm old enough to where I've been in it since 97. I've been there for a while. The Nevada Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame. It really is a who's who of people in the industry here in Nevada. In fact, I got into it so early on because I got my first job in radio seriously when Elvis died in 1977.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I know exactly when it is, and people are going, wow, that was a long time ago. And yes, it was. But proud of that. I'm a radio kid. That's basically what it is.
Great.
back in the day, you had to have 20 years of experience in broadcasting, which I just, right at 20, I was ready to go in. I couldn't wait. We also have an additional prerequisite where you have to do at least 5 years in the state of Nevada.
Exactly.
20 years of broadcast career to do at least 5 of it here. Most people, I think, who go into the Hall of Fame have served well more years in Nevada even than that.
I think they have. We're fortunate in Nevada to have some real legends in this state who have seen so many things going back to the 60s and other eras, other lifetimes almost in a way. And they're walking encyclopedias of history around here. And Nevada is such a rich state in history and sort of folklore, from the mining of Virginia City all the way to the Rat Pack of Las Vegas, and then also the Rat Pack up in Lake Tahoe. So I think this state is wonderful. And again, we're just so fortunate to have both radio and television folks who love it so much that they've just stayed here and made their careers and their homes a lifetime choice here in Nevada. And those folks will be at the gala. And it's always a tremendous honor to get to be around them because they've given so much to the industry and to their communities here in Nevada.
It's a party. It is a major celebration every year. It's such a good time.
It is. It's going to be at the Four Seasons.
Yes, I'm seeing that Saturday, August 15th.
That's right.
It's a great event. Now, this is something, too, with the Hall of Fame. Even if you weren't in broadcasting, I would imagine you could still buy tickets and come.
You can, and that's one of the things I'm excited about is that anyone can go to this. Tickets are $150. You can buy a table for $1,500, table of 10, and you can also buy ads in our program and congratulate folks if you know of anyone who is being inducted. We have 62 inductees this year. We're very excited about that, and the general public is more than welcome to come and join us. We have a silent and a live auction, and all the proceeds to both auctions go to benefit the Tony and Linda Benici Broadcast Professional Scholarship Fund. That's kind of a mouthful. But what that is, thank you. But what that is, we provide scholarships, the foundation provides scholarships to Nevada students attending Nevada colleges and universities. And we're very excited this year. We think there will be about 20 scholarships that we'll be able to give away to students, and they are up to a full ride. We do that much in terms of giving to the education of some of these kids.
That is huge.
And they're brilliant. I've been fortunate enough to be part of the interview process. We're going through it right now. These kids are so bright, and it gives me so much hope to see how smart and passionate they are. They're so respectful, and they know exactly what they want to do, and they have a passion for broadcasting, and that's our way of keeping the industry alive, too, igniting that passion in these kids. But it's inspiring us, as a matter of fact. Those of us who've been in the industry for several years, we're seeing these kids, and they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They've got the world by the tail. And it's just a delight to be able to meet these kids and then provide them with the funds and the resources to further their education.
That is very exciting. Personally, I felt some concern on the side of radio years ago when we started doing the automation and taking and cutting down staffs. I wasn't seeing the overnight young DJ that I used to see who would come up through the ranks. But there are other ways to get into broadcasting. And the fact that as president of the Nevada Broadcasters Association, you see from your perspective that there are still many, many entry-level opportunities to get started and to be the next generation of broadcasters.
Absolutely. And we're encouraging them all the time through our foundation and through the Tony and Linda Benici Scholarship. There are so many places that people, young people, anybody really can enter this industry, whether it's a technical side or whether it's on-air side or volunteering even just for a little bit to get your foot in the door kind of stuff. There are absolutely ways to get in, and the industry embraces that very much so.
People still aren't coming into the business. In fact, we had a hire just, 5-6 weeks ago of a new traffic person. He has no radio experience, but has a lovely voice. So people would hear him talk and they'd say, "Oh, you should be on the radio." Well, he went to one of the job fairs at the National Association of Broadcasters convention here in Las Vegas, met up with John Schaefer, who is our news director for all our stations and also the program director of Arcade on AM station 720. So when John needed someone, he reached out and said, "Are you interested?" And just out of the blue,
and there
we
you
pulled
go.
someone new into the business.
Yep.
And I can tell you, I work with him every afternoon. Every day he wants to learn something new. I love showing him things about production and the creative area. I love showing him the technical side of interfacing live shows, placing things in to fill spots and being very time sensitive, timing into the news at the top top of the hour, and learning all these different little things. When you get someone new in your midst who has not done broadcasting before, and you're teaching them little things that you've known for years, it opens your eyes again to see how really cool our business is.
Oh, it really does. And our business is so cool. It's so gratifying. It's fun. It's exhilarating, but it's also gratifying because, like you mentioned before, we are in such a position to serve our communities, especially you in the public affairs type of position, community affairs and so forth. Your outreach to nonprofits and agencies like that need their help, and they would never be able to get the publicity that they receive on your radio stations if it weren't for you. So it's very gratifying, and it's fun to be able to pass that down and coach and mentor the new kid who are so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and excited, which is why it's so fun, too, to see these scholarship recipients. So we're excited. We'll be featuring them at the gala on August 15th at the Four Seasons. Again, we'd love to have the public attend. Our honorees are very exciting this year. We're honoring with our Pinnacle Award Senator Harry and Landra Reed. They have done so much, especially Senator Reed has done so much for the broadcasters of Nevada and of the United States. He really has been a huge proponent of our industry. So we're honoring him with the Pinnacle Award. The Community Service Award this year is going to MGM Resorts International because they do so much for the community. They're constantly doing outreach and making donations to different entities and organizations that need their help. One of their biggest recipients was the Nevada Military Support Alliance, and we were able, through the support of MGM Resorts International, we were able to start and break ground, and we were able to raise enough money to build a Fisher House here in Las Vegas, out on the VA campus. MGM Resorts International, they give so much to the community here, so we're excited about them. The Lifetime Achievement Award winner for the Broadcast Association is Linda Benici. She's been at KLAS for all these years, and she has given so much to the industry. And then my predecessor, Bob Fisher, who was the previous president and CEO of Nevada Broadcasters, we are giving him special honors as well. So it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, we really want the public to come. We also have some great sponsors already. Gary Ackerman with Godden Motor Company is our platinum sponsor. So we're really excited and pleased to have him as such a huge benefactor of the event. Also, MGM Resorts Bottle Gold and the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority is another big supporter of our event. So we're thrilled.
It's a great time. I've been there a bunch of times. In fact, I've met up with both Senator Reed and his wife Landra at a Nevada Broadcasters Association event years ago. The event is great. The setting is always wonderful. The food is amazing. You meet up with the best people.
Yep.
The silent auctions and the music. I mean, everything. It's a great evening. And if you want to have a good time and maybe meet somebody that you used to watch on TV years ago or still might watch on TV or used to hear on the radio or still do, chances are you're going to meet up with somebody you know.
And they're all very approachable. You might think it would be a little intimidating to see all these broadcasters, but it's really a local who's who. And they love when sort of fans or people in the community just walk up and shake their hand and say, hey, I've been watching you for a long time and I love you or whatever. They love that. So it's not intimidating. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to go to a place where you're going to see a whole lot of people, this is the place to go.
At the Four Seasons, and it will be on Saturday, August 15th. As far as tickets, I would imagine you can get links through the website?
Yes, NevadaBroadcasters.org. Tickets are on sale on the website. You can go there or you can call our office.
On the website itself, there's a lot of stuff people should check out there.
True.
Jobs, for instance.
That's probably the biggest thing we offer, too. All of the broadcast jobs in the state are posted on the Nevada Broadcasters Association website. So it's easy if you're a job seeker and you want a career in broadcasting, that's the place to go. It's a one-stop shop.
NevadaBroadcasters.org. Check out the website. One of the things that I've heard over the years, I'll hear commercials on the radio. I might be the DJ on the air playing them, and I'll hear it tagged with from the Nevada Broadcasters Association in this station. What exactly is happening there? Because I know places like the National Guard or different organizations get exposure on the radio. What's happening behind the scenes to make that happen?
Right. That's another great question. That is called our NCSA program, and that stands for Non-Commercial Sustaining Announcement. And that is a wonderful program whereby government agencies or nonprofits are able to, through the Nevada Broadcasters Office, have announcements done. They're kind of like a public service announcement. So it wouldn't be like a commercial announcement that your regular commercial company would go through and buy on a TV or radio station. They do purchase this time, but we are able, through our arrangement with our Nevada radio and TV stations, provide airtime on all of the participating stations for a set budget. The return on their investment is astronomical. And some of the great public services that we provide are things like seatbelt, buckle up types of things, public safety tips, pool safety, be all kinds of really good public service announcements that help both the community and the agency that needs to get that word out.
So organizations of that type that are in many cases nonprofits or need to get the word out but don't have the budget to go buy a big schedule of commercials on radio or television can come to you, I guess. Do they come actually to NevadaBroadcasters.org to find contact information, to say, we really want to get the word out about our situation, our group?
Exactly. They come to our website, they hear about us, or they find out about us. They'll hear these commercials and then look into that. And a lot of them, we approach them too to try to educate them on the service that we provide to them because we want to help them. It gets the word out and it provides a good service.
Well, what am I missing as far as what the Nevada Broadcasters does? Because we've talked about the kind of outreach work that you do with Washington, federal issues that affect all broadcasters, things that you do within the state with our state legislature and different issues within the border of our state, outlying stations, maybe going to visit a few TV stations and certainly more of those outlying radio stations. The differences between the different metro areas and rural areas. I mean, there's a lot of different facets, the scholarships, the job bank, the way that you're helping to publicize these nonprofits at practically no money whatsoever. What else? Does that cover everything? Because it sounds like you guys are doing an awful lot of stuff.
You know, we are, but it's exhilarating and it's fun, and we are doing a lot with a little in a way, but we're working smarter. There are some new things that I want to build into the Nevada Broadcasters Association to provide even more of the service. Things like providing sales seminars to the AEs, the sales folks at the TV and radio stations, helping them service their clients better. Things that will teach them more about mobile and the new technology and digital and so forth that will help them really embrace the new era that we're moving into very quickly. News seminars that the association could provide, things like that. So there are lots of other tools that we can provide and resources that we can provide that I'm looking into to add to that arsenal that we already have. So there are a lot of big things on the horizon, and I'm really excited about it.
That catches my interest. It really does. To help to give the information to a sales department or account executives so that they are more effective in what they do.
Right.
And we have such a story to tell our advertisers or prospective advertisers about this medium, radio or television. Does Nevada Broadcasters also affect anything as far as cable or internet or any of the other formats?
Well, yes and no. We sort of are related and we interact. With cable, we have agreements for carriage. The TV stations have carriage agreements and so forth, and there is legislation going back and forth regarding carriage, and that means the cable companies have to carry the TV stations on their air and so forth. But those are really about the only way that they interact, and then we all have the internet, so we all interact that way, and there's legislation like with net neutrality and things that are going on with that. So yes and no, they're all interrelated, and they all have varying degrees of impact on each other.
Well, those of us who are in the broadcasting industry, be it radio, television, or whatever, we need to deal with those other formats with internet.
We do.
And as we call them, the other platforms.
That's right.
That's one of the phrases I hear a lot. The idea of the Nevada Broadcasters Association also being able to give additional information or maybe even a little bit of education to help everybody in the business function a little better in all these new and ever-changing, ever-growing areas.
That's right, so that we can provide even more of a service to our listeners and viewers.
This is just a dynamic industry.
It is.
I'm a big believer. Do you ever end up in front of a class talking to them about broadcasting?
I have. I haven't very much lately, but I hope to down the road. It's one of my passions to speak in front of classes and to let them ask real world questions and kind of get an insight into what really goes on, like you said. So yeah, I love doing that and would be open to doing that even more, for sure.
What would you tell a class as far as the state of broadcasting today?
You know what? The state of broadcasting today is alive and well. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's all I really ever wanted to do since I was actually a little kid. It gets in your blood. I could never imagine doing anything else. And I've done a lot of facets of the industry, from news and on air and behind the scenes and production through sales and TV station management. So regardless of what position you have in the industry, it's in your blood and it's a passion and it's fun. It's really fun. It's one of the most gratifying things I could ever imagine doing.
And you get really hooked on it. Trust me. I've tried to leave it a time or two, and I always go, I have to go back. It's in my blood.
That's true.
And it's highly addictive. I will warn you about that once you're in radio or in broadcasting in general. It's hard to match it.
Mm-hmm.
The people and the experience and the feeling of giving back to the community is unlike anything else I know.
I agree.
We got a big party if you want to come out and join us for the Nevada Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame event when we induct how many?
62.
Good Lord. How many do we have now in the Hall of Fame?
I think we're coming up on a milestone. I'll unveil that big surprise the night of the gala.
You could come and join us. 4 seasons. It is Saturday, August 15th. Information at nevadabroadcasters.org. Can I say that since I've been in the Hall of Fame for a long time, I'm feeling just a little old right now, just a little bit.
No.
Just a little bit. But broadcasting can also keep you young.
That's right.
So we are very fortunate. And fortunate to have as our guest today on Talking Solutions, Mary Beth Sewald, president of the Nevada Broadcasters Association. Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think, Terry, you covered it all. Thank you so much for having me today.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group, Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.